All right, welcome to Sports Minds, where all thoughts lead to sports and we talk ball every season. We are your hosts, Legendarius. Say your name.
Taskmaster Z.
Hey, what up? I'm filthy.
So excited to be here. It's episode 1, and we about to get right into it. It's the NFL season has officially come to a close, and we got to talk. We got to talk about this Super Bowl. So let's get into
Woo!
it.
Well, yeah. Hey, let's talk about it. Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes wins his second and his third trip. First Super Bowl ever to ever have two black quarterbacks going against each other, which was a beautiful thing to see. It's not as rare as it was, back in the 90s or early 2000s. Hell, even the early 2010s. But now I think it's more commonplace once we hit 2013 and above. But I would have to say, other than that call, it was one of the best Super Bowls I've ever seen. Actually, call or not, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Filthy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean it's the best Super Bowl since the last time I said it was the best Super Bowl. This what happens every year. I mean, the Super Bowl ends up ending pretty good for the most part. I was totally entertained. First quarter was kind of like not that into it. At the end of the day, as a Cowboys fan, I can't stand watching Philly, so I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, we out here. But once it got like mid-second quarter, I started feeling it, and I got into the game. Halftime show happened and everything, and yeah, by like third quarter, fourth quarter, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of strapped in. I'm ready to go. I kind of like what I see. Definitely don't want the game to end how it did, but hey, I mean, if you have your season come down to a ref making a call, you probably weren't going to win anyways.
Oh my God. The both of y'all, are you guys serious? Was it a penalty?
Was it a penalty? Yes,
Yeah.
it
Yeah, it was
was.
definitely a hold.
No, we're saying it's a penalty.
Dang.
Yeah,
I I get so sick every time that there's a losing team. Like, oh, the ref. It was the ref. Did you see that play where they had a penalty and they called the penalty? Like, don't commit the penalty.
Yeah, no. All right. We did
That's
talk
exactly
about this
why
off
I
screen.
said the point that I did to wrap up. If you're just gonna rely on the game to come down to a ref call, blown or not, you weren't in a position to win. I mean, I think the whole thing is more of a non-issue in my opinion. I think everyone just wanted overtime and they're just mad about it. But
Yeah.
and then too, when people were kind of talking about it, oh, I wanted Jalen Hurts to kind of get out there one more time. Oh, so it's the freaking Josh Allen problem all over again. We did this how many years ago? Chiefs Bills, like come on, you just want more football. That's all you want. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's not a big deal. We
Yeah.
had a good game.
And on top of that,
Exactly.
going into this, all we kept hearing about was, oh, the Eagles' best defense since the 85 Bears. Get a stop. If you guys are that good, get a stop. They did not sack Mahomes one time, even though
Thank you.
they had 70 sacks on the season. Mahomes threw one incompletion in the second half. Get a stop.
Oh,
Like,
and he was
I don't
on
want to
one
hear
leg.
it. Get a stop. Like, and people want to like, oh, Jalen Hurts outplayed Mahomes. I don't care. No turnovers, 3 touchdowns, won the game, made every play that needed to be made. Jalen Hurts did great. Jalen Hurts had a fumble, returned for a touchdown. But he did ball out. I'll give him his credit. He balled out. But at the end of the day, it's like, get a stop. That's why there's two sides of the ball. If you guys have this great defense, we heard all the pundits going in talking about how Philly just has so much and Mahomes has to be perfect in order for the Chiefs to win. That's not what happened. Andy Reid took the defense to school. Literally took the defense to school. It's like, yo, let's hit him with. It was like he was playing Madden. It's like, yo, let's act like we're gonna run the drag route and then go back out, and they don't cheat. It's like the user's trying to jump the route, like, oh, wrong touchdown. And it's like, yo, I bet you hit him with that same play again, and they did, and they would have hit him the third time on the hold,
Yeah.
because the corner was beat. That's why he held. It's like, oh shit, I they got me again. Let me hold him this time. It's like that would have been another touchdown. Or obviously they could have did the same thing they did, which was fall down in bounds and run the clock out. But at the end of the day, the Chiefs outplayed, outcoached, etc. the Eagles. It was a great game, but
Yeah.
I'm just tired of people trying to like blame the refs, blame this, blame that. I'm not saying you guys are doing that, but that's all I was hearing. It's just all this blame. It's like, put some respect on the Chiefs, put some respect on Mahomes. Stop saying that he's the GOAT already. You got to win some more, but he's on that path.
Yeah, I think if he wins 3, I would give him the GOAT label. Easy.
Oh my God. Stop it.
No, you want to know why? All right. It's okay. We get it. Like, rings are, important into, seeing your impact on a game. But look at Tom Brady. You know what I mean? He's not the most talented player we've ever seen. He had Bill Belichick, at the time, the greatest defensive mind of ever, during his first 3 runs. So his first 3 rings. So when you go into Patrick Mahomes, you're like, okay, talent, check. Arm strength, check. Athleticism, check. Like, likable guy, check. Great coach in Andy Reid, check. If this man wins 3, you're already talking about not only the most talented player at the position, you're talking about possibly the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. Because it's like, it's hard to win 1. It's hard to win.
You got to win more than 3. Brady got 7.
Yeah, okay. we lived through Brady. How can you sit up here and say that? Like, I see what the point you're trying to make with Mahomes, but we just lived through Brady's career. Like, what are you talking about? We saw it.
I know. I'm just saying.
So the greatest quarterback that ever played was right there. We just saw him. TB12.
Remember, people were already ready to crown Aaron Rodgers as a GOAT with 1 ring. And they said, "Oh, he'll go to
I don't know what's wrong with those people." Period. I don't know what's wrong with those people. Well, you know why they wanted to crown the GOAT. But now you have the standard. It's 7 rings. It's 7 rings. He doesn't have to get 7. Like, if he goes 6-1, Brady goes 7 and it's Brady 7-3. You give it to Mahomes. It's like the Jordan, LeBron. Even though LeBron has a losing record, so I don't even want to put him in that category. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, if he goes like 5-1, 5-2, the standard is 7. But I just want to say, let's pump the brakes. This is his 5th year in the league. He's got his entire career still ahead of him. Right. But at the same time, it was a great start. It is a great start.
It is a great start. I totally agree.
Especially with the first round.
Pretty much get to the postseason every year.
Yeah. I mean, not even the postseason, to the AFC Championship game.
Every year.
Like, every year. Every year he's been 1 game away from the Super Bowl, which the Cowboys have not been since 1995, 96.
There's 32 teams in the NFL. You could have talked about any other one of the 31.
When was the last time Baltimore won?
2012.
Doesn't matter.
2012. Won Super Bowl. Beat the Niners.
Could have picked any other team.
Niners fans, it's not me. I'll tell you that.
Hey man, I just thought I wanted to give the Cowboys some love. I know they got a lot of hate before the Super Bowl even started with Dak on the field. So I just wanted to take a moment for my Cowboys fans, if there's anything you want to say about your team this season.
I got nothing to say. Season's over. Next season.
Well, we got a B- quarterback with A+ money. So that's all I gotta say.
A+ money? What are you talking about? Jerry won't even spend a bag for a receiver.
He spent the bag on Dak. 45 mil? Like, no.
No, the bag went to Zeke, actually.
Bad financial choices. Period.
But what Jerry Jones was saying at the end of the season. He had a meeting with Dak. He called him in. He said, "Listen here, you stupid."
He's like, just to confirm, that was me in that picture. I don't want you coming in this cafeteria again until you win a goddamn Super Bowl.
But all right, man. I feel like I feel like that's pretty much a wrap on the Super Bowl. So before we get
well, one last point I wanted to say
go
about
ahead, go
Philly
ahead.
was like I just love it. Like they do this every other year with Philly. They make some key whatever off-season additions. Everyone starts blowing Philly. Oh, they're coming out the division. They're coming out the division. Every single time they do this, they show up to the dance and they just eat a donkey every single time. It's just like the media loves doing this with Philly, and I don't get it. I just noticed it maybe around thinking about it recently, maybe around 2018ish, 2019ish, when it was Carson Wentz and that O line. Yeah, they won the Super Bowl, but I'm just like, dude, you guys are just like on Philly's nuts every single time they make one off-season addition. It's like, oh, these guys are so loaded, and I just
Well,
loved it, man. I love them getting Bradbury. I love them
let's
getting
face
Gardner
the fact.
Johnson. I love them getting everyone else they made, and I love them getting over there. I love them getting to the Super Bowl, and I love them just choking because that's exactly what happened. They choked. It was great. I loved it.
But let's be very honest about Philly here. When it comes to Dallas, I personally think they're a better run organization. They're smart. They understand on how to build a team and keep players and not overpay certain players like we do as far as Dallas. So when they do make those big moves, say what you want about Howie Roseman, there's a reason why he's an executive of the year. So that's all I'm saying.
Well, it's not like they made perfect moves. They paid Carson Wentz. Look how that turned out. They had to trade him, but they knew to move on. Maybe that's the thing. Jerry Jones doesn't know how to move on. He's just like,
Exactly.
I gotta stand on what I said, and at the end of the day, it's not my fault. It's Dak.
Yeah, he has this weird family affinity. Like that's the whole thing with like Texas. Like, oh, you guys are family now. I don't know about how the Texans move, but I mean, apparently not. That's not how they move, but that's how Jerry is, man. Oh, you guys are family. That's why Jason Garrett was there for entirely too long. Oh, you're like family,
Exactly.
man. Like,
They
what are
don't
we
know how to
talking
move on.
about?
Hell, the Eagles moved off of Andy Reid, so like, so it's like they know when it's time. Like they know when it's time to move on and bring in something new. Even though it may take a few years to rebuild, that's what they did. And, hey, I'll give them credit, all the credit in the world for that.
Well, even then, that kind of speaks to the kind of philosophy of the owners. Like, what am I here for? Do I just want to own a team to like kind of have fun, shit the bed, and kind of hang out here, or do I want to win? Do I want to mean something? I think that comes down to what the owner wants to do. And Jerry Jones, he wants all the attention. He doesn't want the accolades.
Correct.
Whereas the Eagles in this example they do want to win. They do want to mean something.
Yep, I agree. And that.
All right.
But I'm glad they lost. Whatever.
All right. So we can officially put the Super Bowl. Actually, no. Before we put the Super Bowl to bed, we shout out Rihanna, bro.
Yeah, we gotta talk about who's putting Rihanna to bed.
Whew, ASAP. Put a in her ASAP.
First of all, I have to say, I have a Rihanna story. I do have to say this. So the show starts. She, it comes. The stage opens up. It's very Super Smash Brothers, and I'm just like, wow, the show's happening. I see Rihanna, and she's sitting right there. She's 1-2 stepping right there, and I'm like, wow. And I just say out loud, huh? Her stomach looks kind of big. And my wife immediately bites my head off. How dare you? She just had a kid. You don't know what she's going through. And I kind of felt like a dick after. I'm not going to lie. Because, I don't know how, everyone recovers differently from pregnancy. And then we're like halfway through the show. And then the wife's like, oh, she is pregnant. And I was like, how dare you make me feel like trash? I think that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, did she walk that back? Did she walk that back and apologize, or should she say, "Oh, never mind, I was wrong. No apology though, but I was wrong."
Well, I just kind of looked at her and I was like, "Oh, because she's pregnant. That's why." Oh, okay.
Yeah,
kind of left it there. Like, all right, we don't have to talk about it, but you bit my head off for no reason. I'm a victim.
Hey, and I gotta say, man, Jay-Z, Rock Nation, they onto something with their last two Super Bowls because the halftime show had more viewers than the Super Bowl game.
Yeah.
Like, even
5 million more. 5 million more to be exact. That's crazy.
My wife was on her phone the entire time until the halftime show. Like that's what the Super Bowl was the halftime show. And I feel like that's the move moving forward. It's like, yo, we need like hip hop / R&B excellence for these halftime shows.
Absolutely, because this Foo Fighter bullshit that we used to get, or like I don't know, like what was it, 98 Degrees? I don't know. We had like some trash
Bruce
ones.
Springsteen,
Katy
Yeah,
Perry.
Katy
and the
Perry,
E Street
and then Katy
Band.
Perry's was only lit because she brought out Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
You too. That one year.
Oh my god! Like they had some. I think they had Coldplay one year, and I was like, what the fuck? Like this is not a
Yeah.
Super
It's like,
Bowl.
yo, I'm not listening to this.
Well, before we move forward, what's your guys' best number one halftime performance?
Oh, come on,
Prince.
man.
Because
Janet
it's Prince for
Jackson.
me.
Janet Jackson.
see some
Come
see
on.
some nip slips, baby.
Hell no.
No,
Actually,
but
that was the most the trippiest. That was definitely the most controversial thing I've ever seen.
I'm gonna have to say Prince.
Yeah, I'm definitely rolling with Prince. That was crazy. It was actually raining while he
Yeah.
performed.
Exactly. Prince won't rain. Yep.
But I will say I kind of disagree with some of the slander. Like a lot of what I've been hearing is like, oh, the Rihanna, it was all right. It was kind of whatever. Like I
That's
wasn't that into
we're
it.
Come on,
I'm
bro.
like, dude,
our
I'm not
society
even a
is
Rihanna
we want.
stan, okay? I'm not even in the Navy, but that was actually pretty killer. The song selection was pretty good, and she has a lot of bangers.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I was singing along the whole time.
Yeah.
I
Say.
was not, but what do you want this pregnant woman to do? You know, you want her to backflip for you?
Right, exactly.
Freaking
People want
throw some bananas up? Like what's going on here? She's
I want
pregnant. She's
her to
still
spin on
performing
her
for you.
stomach.
Yeah, seriously. All these people just like complain about her not getting music for when are we getting an album? Well, hell, I just did a halftime performance for you and you complained. Why would I drop an album? You can buy my Fenty and my Savage though.
For real. Well, all right. With that being said, we're gonna pivot a little bit to current events in the NFL. All right, let's get into it, man. NFL, as soon as the NFL season ends, it's right into the off season. And I feel like we got to open our third eye, guys. There's a lot going on right now.
It's opening as we speak.
First thing is Derek Carr got released from the Raiders, so he now controls his own destiny, and the team that he goes to doesn't have to give up any assets for him. So what do you guys think are the best landing spots? I got my best landing spot in mind, and I've been hearing a lot of stuff, in the media, but they ain't talking about the team they should be talking about. So what do you guys think?
I personally don't think he's going to go to the Jets. I just don't think he's a New York personality type. I could actually see the Panthers. I can see that. Frank Reich, he was casted out in Indianapolis. Derek Carr was just, they just kicked his ass out the door. So maybe just two underappreciated talents in the game collide. So I'm gonna go with the Panthers.
All right. Filthy, what you got?
This is more just my own wish fulfillment more than anything, but I kind of do want him. I do want to see him in New York. I do want to see him with that Jets team. I mean, they were only missing a quarterback this past year. They looked really good when they were firing on all cylinders. The defense looks really nice. It's finally coming together. I personally, plus, I kind of like Derek Carr as a player. I haven't seen him do anything entirely dumb, so I like to see him succeed. I kind of want to see him in that offense.
I feel you. For me, and I feel like nobody's talking about this, and it's just like, hello, it's right in front of your face. The Niners.
Dun, dun, dun!
He was on the Oakland Raiders. They moved to Vegas. So he's from the Bay Area, went to Fresno State, lived in Oakland until they moved to Vegas. So he goes back home. He's got his family there. He's got his house there. What do the Niners need? The Niners need a quarterback. Now the Niners. Yeah, and the Niners just paid Jimmy G 20 mil to be a backup. So they got enough money. You get off Jimmy G's contract, you give that to Derek Carr. Derek Carr slides right into a Super Bowl ready team. What has Derek Carr not had pretty much his entire time? Defense. Now he has a defense. He has a coach, an offensive-minded coach with a great run game, great supporting cast. Oh, and what has he heard his entire career? Slander. Slander from Raiders Nation. Also, the Raiders front office did him dirty by benching him like he's the problem. You're going to back Josh McDaniels over me? Josh McDaniels over me? I'm the problem? All right, let me show you. I'm going to go to your rival and I'm going to win it all in the first year. And maybe I'll run it back and win it all again. Because if you put Derek Carr on the Niners are the favorite to win the Super Bowl. It's not even close.
I agree. It would be reminiscent of Stafford going to LA, but Derek Carr is only 30. That's the thing. And so running it back wouldn't be wild. And the reason why I think you're on something good, and this is what everybody needs to listen to. What has been the number one issue with Niners quarterbacks since 2019? Health. No one's been healthy. Your team has always been hurt, especially at the quarterback position. And then even if Jimmy G was there, he was a distributor of the football, but he never threw it deep like that. Derek Carr can. And the reason, people before anyone says, oh, he didn't throw it deep a lot either. I was like, well, that's because when you're throwing it to a bunch of shit for a bunch of years until you had, Henry Ruggs and Darren Waller, Devontae Adams, what happened? He started throwing it deep more. So with George Kittle, yards after catch. Brandon Ayuk, route runner, yards after catch. Oh, did I forget Deebo Samuel? He's an okay route runner, but what does he do best? Run after catch.
Yeah. And he didn't even McCaffrey, bro.
Exactly. Well, that goes unsaid.
You also forgot about Juwan Jennings.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Come on.
Get out of here,
I also forgot about Kyle Juszczyk.
That okay.
Hughes. He's I do gotta say too, just to roast GMs for a second, the smartest guys in the room. How is it that these GMs decided, who's better than Derek Carr, Teddy Bridgewater, Johnny Manziel, Blake Bortles?
Yikes.
Right.
Oh yeah. Do you remember what they said in that draft though? The reason why they said that, because it's like, oh, Derek Carr's brother, David Carr, was a bust, so we don't want to take that chance again. Yeah. Like, wait, what? Oh, yeah, two entirely different human beings.
Exactly.
And David Carr got the shit beat out of him.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you mean the guy that got drafted to the expansion team didn't do very well?
Right. That got sacked 80 times in a season? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, let me ask you, Madden GMs, this. You go with Carr to the Niners. You got Purdy on the lam in recovery for 6-8-ish plus months.
Don't you dare.
Trey Lance coming back. What do you do there? You already made it known. The Jimmy G affair is over. What do you do with those two quarterbacks there, my Madden GMs?
So I'm gonna keep Purdy for sure because he's a 7th round, or he's the last pick of the draft. So I'm gonna keep you for 3 years, and you have no leverage at all. So I'm gonna keep Purdy. But for Trey Lance, now he's going into year 3. I might trade him, try to get a 2nd, 3rd round pick. Sometimes you just got to take the L. It's like, you know what? We missed on this quarterback. He's not the guy. And you just take the L. Let's flip it, get a 2nd round, 3rd round pick, and move on. Because you could legitimately draft a 2nd or 3rd round pick that will give you what Trey Lance has given you thus far.
Yep, that's correct.
Or you draft another skill player because, as they missed on the QB. They know how to draft some defense. Like, that defense is built through the draft, not through free agency outside of Ward. Like, built through the draft. They know how to draft defensive players. So I'd flip Trey Lance, bolster up the defense. They already have a great offensive line. And Brock Purdy, you're going to be on the bench for, Brock Purdy, you're now Jordan Love, or you're young Aaron Rodgers, whatever. Deal with it. And then once it's time to extend you, we'll either extend you or we can flip you. You're a 7th round pick. If I can flip a 7th rounder for a 2nd, 3rd, 4th rounder, that's a come up. And I also backup QB insurance.
Yeah. And as much as most Niner fans don't want to hear this, Brock Purdy is a very capable backup. I don't think he's a starter like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, he went undefeated in his starts. There's a few backups that started their career like that and then just fell off. And plus, with a complete UCL tear, if he has Tommy Johns, he already has like a semi-average arm. It's going to be below average, a la Chad Pennington. Don't think y'all want that long term. So, yeah, no, legendaries. I agree.
All
Yeah,
right.
that sounds like the most. I can get behind that move too. I mean, why not? Build depth. You don't need all those quarterbacks. Trey Lance was already expecting to come back into some sort of a starting role, anyways. I assume so. Help him out. I mean, why not? I mean, even to kind of piggyback off that, what is going down in Chicago with the talk that now they're thinking about getting rid of Fields and going after
They're getting
yet
rid of
another
him.
young quarterback?
They're getting rid of him.
The Bears are a joke. How long have we been saying this?
We've been saying it
Years
since
now.
Justin Fields got drafted, but look, what he
I think
said
we've been
on
saying it since Jay Cutler's been a Bear.
Yeah, like
Jay Cutler is a joke along with Bears.
this is 2 decades of Bears GMs fumbling. Like they do it year after year after year. So now Justin Fields is a problem.
He's not.
Give him receivers. Darnell Mooney's the best guy you got. And then you are, we got you Chase Claypool. Oh, I'm sorry. Was Chase Claypool doing so much in Pittsburgh before they got rid of him? Or was he being a bum and that's why Pittsburgh got rid of him in the first place?
Correct.
Honestly, Velus Jones needed more touches.
Oh my god. Yeah. And I mean, come on. Bryce Young, I'm sorry. I've seen enough Alabama. Bryce he's not the guy. He's no better than Justin Fields.
Allow me to interject. When I said they were getting rid of him, I'm not saying that he is the problem. So I don't know if y'all are aware of the Barstool Sports interview that he had on the podcast. Justin Fields, when he was talking about how he hates playing in the cold, he feels slower, he can't throw the ball right in the cold, and then he wants Soldier Field to have a dome. So everyone's going on about that. And you know how these GMs think. Oh, if you don't like it, then you can leave. This is our out.
Yeah.
And then his record when it's 40 degrees or lower, he's 0-8. So it's like, fuck. I need to get better than that. But if you're already counting yourself out, what are you here for? I think that's maybe a strategic move on him and his camp. Because do we really want to see Justin Fields waste away in Chicago? Or do we want to see him in Atlanta?
I mean, I don't want to see
the looks of what was going down. The front runner for Fields is going to be Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I would like to see him in Atlanta, but at the same time, I'm not down with blaming Justin Fields for any of this.
No.
Anything that's wrong with the Bears, I'm not feeling it.
If what's his name? Matt Eberflus is a defensive mind. You got rid of all your defensive players. Your defense is bottom. I think it's like 31st, or maybe it might have been the worst defense in the league.
It's down there. I mean, they gave up like close to 30 a game.
Yeah, and
this is my thing. This is my thing. All right, Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a problem. He loses to the Cowboys 49-29. That's 29 points he scored. Loses to Miami 35-32. 32 points he scored. Loses to Detroit 31-30. Atlanta 27-24. Like, he put up points in 4 straight games, and if I got this defensive-minded head coach, give me some fucking stops.
Yep, exactly. And then, look, that you just named 4 games right there. And I know he was playing his behind off, rushing for like 150 yards at least in those games.
Broke Lamar's record.
Sure.
Which was a great game.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not feeling the Bears. I do hope that they get them to Atlanta because Atlanta's got some weapons and they have an offensive minded coach in Arthur Smith. as long as he doesn't get fired.
And that's where he's from. He's
Yeah.
going home.
And, he knows how to run zone reads. Arthur Smith likes to run that type of offense, and that fits right in with Justin Fields' skill set. So I hope that happens, and Bryce Young can be the next bust that goes to the Bears. I think the Bears should draft CJ Stroud, but we'll get into the draft some other time. Some other QBs with uncertainty. We got Aaron Rodgers and his darkness trip. I think he's trolling, bro. I think he wants. I think he wants to kill the Raiders.
Okay, so you think he finally leaves Green Bay?
Yeah.
Okay. He's a peacocker to me. He's gonna say all this stuff, show off his feathers, be like, "Oh well, it's this person's fault, that person's fault, this is that, blah blah," and then be like, "All right, I'm going back to the Green Bay anyway, and then I'm still gonna spite you when I'm here." I hope he leaves. I hope he does. I really do, but I still don't see it yet.
I very much haven't been a fan with the Aaron Rodgers version of Pat McAfee that I'm getting. Like I just haven't been into it. It's been ever since his contract last season, this last dust up, whenever that was. Excuse me for not remembering. But it's just very annoying. It's just so like, oh my God, I don't know how I feel this season. Oh, you're gonna play? I don't know, man. Haven't decided. And you put this whole team through limbo. It's like, I'm gonna come back. And it's like, why are we playing this game? And you have all of the media just like up your butt. Oh, let's play the Aaron Rodgers game again. What's gonna happen? It's like, bro, you're either gonna get your fat contract from Green Bay, or you're gonna go elsewhere. Maybe fleece a team, maybe not fleece a team, but you're gonna maybe not get a Super Bowl most likely, and then you're gonna be back to where you were last year, which is complaining about not having something. So clearly your heart's not in the football. Your heart hasn't been in the football for a long time. No one faults you for that. You did your numbers. You can bow out. You're creating the Brett Favre problem all over again. All he needs now is a trip to Minnesota to round out the trip. Like he's just acting like Brett Favre at this point, and I'm just over it. I'm just over it.
No, come on. You don't know why he's doing this? Tell me the last notable offensive piece that the Packers have gotten for Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, we're not doing this.
Yes, we are.
No. And that man has had support.
Since when?
Rodgers count or no?
What did he do?
Wait, right. So how far are we going back?
Let's go
Mike McCarthy.
Let's go 2018.
Okay. Okay, hold on.
I have Devontae Adams. I have Aaron Jones. Give me somebody else, not Alan Lazard. Somebody else. That's all I've had. That's all I've had.
Now it's Scantling, god dang it.
AJ Dillon, duh.
Oh yeah, AJ Dillon. That's what I need. We just got.
Okay, all right. There's this point counterpoint. They built a defense, so then all he needs to do is score 24 to 28 points, while the defense only allowed 20. That's all you need to do if you're that guy.
How am I going to do that with no weapons? I have one weapon.
You have
Patrick Mahomes just did it and got a Super Bowl.
Aaron Jones. You have
when I had Devontae Adams. When I had Devontae Adams, I got two MVPs back to back, and then you get rid of him. This is all we're going off of.
That was Aaron Rodgers' fault.
His last 2 years, he had Devontae Adams. Get out of here. No, it's not. Aaron made Devontae leave?
Yes.
He made okay.
That's wrong.
If you're talking about retirement every 5 seconds, me as your teammate, I'm looking at you like, are you in this for the long haul or not? But just in case you're not, I'm out. I'm getting my money. And then Green Bay, I know they said, well, we could have paid him if he would have stayed, but but Aaron Rodgers took up the cap. That's what they blamed it on.
Why would he? Why would he not? He's like, yo, I just won back-to-back MVPs. We were in the NFC Championship game. We lose. You don't give me any other pieces. We just run it back with the same team, and then we get knocked out in the second round after our bye. Like, give me my money. I don't care. Give me my money. You guys don't want to run this program. You guys don't want to run this. It's not me. I just won 2 MVPs. Now you're going to let my best player walk. You're not going to get anything in return for him. And then you still expect me to ball out? Like, nah, this is what happens when you don't give me weapons. I can only do so much. When my best weapon is Alan Lazard, like, no. And don't tell me the rookies, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, who are hurt this season and got wide open touchdowns. Like, no, bro. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear
it.
But yeah, to your point, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I think Rodgers is just playing. It's like, dude, come on. Like, you know what it is. You probably know your decision. You don't have to go on a freaking ayahuasca trip for 4 days of darkness without a cell phone.
It's a darkness retreat.
You don't have to take a time machine back to the 50s to make this decision, dude. Like, you already know what you want to do. I just feel like he's just playing everyone.
He's trolling.
He's just doing the media circus. That's all it is.
He knows how to do it. Yeah. That's really how
I also think he's just trying to be like, give me some pieces or trade me.
Yeah, I totally agree with that too. I just don't the execution. I just don't like the execution. What he's doing, I totally get it. He does deserve pieces. I mean, it's funny in many ways, and I felt this for a long time. The ways of which Green Bay and Dallas mirror each other, it's so freaking funny. But down to this year, they both don't have weapons. And it's just like, at some point, if you're Rodgers, you're either going to want to change or you're going to want to keep trying to do the same thing, and that's going to make you insane. So I hope his leverage deal works. I just don't want to hear about it all the time because it's kind of annoying, and he's not that good of a quarterback.
He just won the MVP like a year ago.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, I didn't think he even deserved it that year.
What? So he just went from
wait. I know I criticize Aaron, but I'm not gonna. I can't go that far and say that he's not that good of a quarterback.
Yeah,
this tradition of Aaron Rodgers getting older, he's not aging into a good, reliable veteran quarterback. Maybe if he gets some weapons, I'll change my opinion. As of right now, what he's been giving me in Green Bay the last 2-3 seasons, MVP seasons included, it's done nothing for me.
Okay, I get it, because the postseason, I see when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, I'm like, okay, you won the regular season, great. Let's see what you do in the post, and check downs and playing scared doesn't do it for me either. I will say that.
Peyton Manning, great regular season quarterback.
Won 2 Super Bowls, went to 4. Next.
Yeah, and I'm not even that high on Peyton Manning. I like him in the regular season.
No, seriously, what are we talking about here? Aaron Rodgers only went to 1. I don't want to hear that shit. Do not badmouth Peyton Manning.
I didn't.
I know. I'm just saying. Anybody. Skill.
Hey, let's talk about my man. The man that really needs the money. Lamar Jackson.
Run me my money. That's all.
Well, I'll tell you, this Lamar Jackson situation did take a serious left turn during the season. I mean, it was cool when they were winning, and I was like, wow, I really am curious about the number. But now it seems like this gamble is kind of going left with the injury and just how the Ravens kind of tailed off at the end of the season. And they're going to definitely use that and try to leverage that against Lamar. I mean, I would rather not see him walk just because I'm kind of curious about his trajectory with the Ravens. But if he has to walk, he has to walk. But I think it's a game that was working, and I don't think it's working as much anymore.
I think you have to think about this and I'm a Ravens fan. From the Ravens' perspective, it's not working. I'd say it's not working for the Ravens because it's just like, he's not going to re-sign unless you give him what he wants. For Lamar Jackson, it's working because he has the market of what he's asking for. So it's like, Ravens, give it to me or I'll get it somewhere else. And it's really on the Ravens to give it to him. And it's crazy. Like, I hear, and I just think from Lamar's perspective where it's like, well, Deshaun Watson, that's a bad contract. Like, and, let's put him in like Kyler Murray or let's put him like, no. Dude, did Kyler Murray win an MVP? Did Deshaun Watson? No. Then pay me more than them and make it guaranteed like Deshaun Watson's is.
Yeah, exactly.
He has a point. It's like, I've done more. Pay me more. And
I've done more with less on the outside receiving weapons. I never had a DeAndre Hopkins to both of their credits.
Yeah.
I never had DeAndre Hopkins and Marquise Brown on the field at the same time. Like, I have Marquise Brown, and we all know how inconsistent he was.
Yeah.
And if I'm Lamar Jackson,
75% of my games.
The only thing I'm saying in those meetings is run me my money.
Exactly.
$250 or nothing.
Exactly.
Guaranteed.
Exactly.
And go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, it's like the Ravens they shouldn't even be negotiating. They should see how the season ended and be like, damn, if we had Lamar, I mean, look at what we did with Snoop Huntley. He almost gave it to the Bengals. If we had Lamar, maybe we would have won the Super Bowl. With that defense coming back in full strength, you have Lamar. You are a Super Bowl contender without question. So
without question, and not passing for 90 yards a game.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you risk it, or you're gonna give the man who like literally has the city behind him on his back. Like, you need to pay him, or he's gonna get that money somewhere else.
What team would realistically give Deshaun Watson money at this point?
Falcons.
He really has that book.
Falcons.
Wait, Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, you said Lamar Jackson values himself above a Deshaun Watson and above a Kyler Murray.
Well, Lamar Jackson didn't touch 25 people.
Yeah, but I'm saying Deshaun Watson got 200 and whatever million guaranteed.
Yeah, so if you're saying he's aiming to get more than that, which is already the highest number, who has that type of cachet to give him that?
Oh, teams will make the space to do that. Miami will do that. The Jets
can do that, yes.
Yeah, the Jets will do that. Like, one of those two teams will do that.
Absolutely. And if he goes to Miami, it's over.
Yeah, it really is.
I think that's why because everyone's saying Atlanta, Michael Vick experience. I was like, we can do that for Justin Fields.
Yeah,
that team's trash.
I got one for you. I got one for you.
Man going home.
I got one for you. Tampa.
Yeah, that could be fun.
I'm torn.
That could be a problem. You still got for a couple years. Chris Godwin, the year removed from his ACL.
It's true.
You got Lenny. You got Rashad White, who's going to be on the uptick.
Yeah.
Hey, Tampa could do
it. Place?
Need a QB, and they're in the NFC South. Hey, even the Saints. The Saints need a QB.
I wouldn't go to the Saints without.
The Saints have negative money though.
Oh yeah, that's true. They have cap problems. You're right.
Yeah, they literally have cap problems.
Saints are out of it.
Might be Ian Book out there.
And I feel like a lot of these other QBs that are like in limbo, they're kind of mid-tier, like Jimmy G, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson.
I actually would love it if Jimmy G just kind of like rode off into the sunset and just go back to New England and just back up Mac Jones. Like, I'm here.
Good. That's it. That's just
just leave after a year or two.
Come on, bro. Jimmy G does not need to back up anybody. He can start somewhere. Baker Mayfield.
As much crap he gets from his phone fans, he's a much better quarterback than we all give him credit for.
Yeah. And I feel like Baker Mayfield can start somewhere as well. Even though I was ripping him, he can start. He's proved himself when he proved himself on the Rams to me. I was like, okay, you got something. Yeah. You got something.
I agree. There's something there.
I don't want to see aggressive commercials anymore, but you got something. Be you Ryan Tannehill. I don't see Ryan Tannehill commercials. Go be that.
Right.
And let's get into this coaching carousel before we wrap. So this coaching carousel, it is complete. Obviously, the biggest winner is the Broncos, Sean Payton.
Ooh, yes. Now my biggest question about this is not about Sean Payton at all. It's about my guy, Russell Wilson. Sorry for saying hello to your wife in Vegas. That's a story for another time.
My man.
But the thing is more about Russell Wilson. Do you guys think that he's actually washed up, or he was literally a square peg going into a round hole? It just didn't fit.
I do not think he's washed up. I think Nathaniel Hackett is a bum. That's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's definitely no serious regression with Russell Wilson. It was definitely just the wrong hire, and I felt that way from the beginning. He showed it every single week. He was the wrong hire. It's just the wrong hire. I think Russell Wilson, dark horse for comeback player of the year, with everyone seeing him so negatively.
Yeah. And let's not forget, like early in the season, this is how ridiculous Nathaniel Hackett was. You have Javonte Williams when he's still healthy. You have Melvin Gordon, and you keep rotating them in goal line situations. Like, oh, you didn't get in the end zone? Now let's try the other guy. Let's not give one running back 3 shots from the 1 yard line to get a yard. Let's rotate them out so, one of them can fumble. Let's get Melvin Gordon in there so he can fumble. Mr. Fumble himself. Although, salute to Melvin Gordon, Super Bowl champion of the Kansas City Chiefs. That man,
he said, I didn't do shit, and I got a ring.
I don't know. A part of me kind of loved watching Nathaniel Hackett do that, play the coin flip game with Gordon and Javonte Williams, because it's just kind of like in Madden when like you're right there at the goal line, you're like, I'm gonna run left. Okay, stop me. I'm gonna run right. Okay, I'm gonna get them this time.
And still get to do it.
Full back. All right, let's kick the field goal. And then, come on, man. All the delay of games on like 4th down, like look at
That's coaching. That's literally coaching.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean?
I think Sean Payton's gonna turn things around quickly. Broncos go from worst to second because the Chiefs.
Right, yeah. Worst to second. Worst to third, maybe. I was fine. No, worst to second for sure. I think but I do think that was a golden hire. I was afraid that Sean Payton was going to go to Arizona, for a second, and because it was like Kyler Murray, he's young, this and that. Maybe he could just talk some shit back. I don't know.
Let's roast Arizona real quick. Arizona
let's do it.
They had all this time to find their coach. They got Brian Flores in the running. They got, some other veteran coaches in the running. What do? They go get Jonathan Gannon, the Eagles defensive coordinator who just got cooked in the Super Bowl. And to say that it wasn't him, it was him. No adjustments. You see how easy it was for Andy Reid to score touchdowns on you? Now that guy's going to be running the team. He couldn't even run a defense. Now he's going to run a whole team. Not to mention the Cardinals' defense is already bottom tier to begin with. You have a hurt Kyler Murray who has no discipline from what all the reports are. Now you're going to get a young coach in there, and he's going to turn things around when you could have got a Brian Flores who, he's a tough coach.
Taking no shit.
Yes.
And would have known how to turn around the team because, hey, say what you will, in his Miami tenure, what did they do? Every time they hit like a weird little losing slump, they would come back, start winning like crazy.
Yeah.
Or maybe they start off fast. I don't know.
Or get another offensive coach. I don't know. Maybe, offensive coach. Maybe I should have got Frank Wright. Maybe there were people out there. Maybe you guys should have took a swing on Eric Bieniemy instead of making him go to Washington to be the new offensive coordinator out there.
That's criminal. That is criminal.
That was definitely a huge whiff on the Cardinals with all the available selections, and they go with someone very green. It's just, I don't know, it just goes to like a lot. Some of these teams, they do that. I mean, look at the Colts, the same thing. Shane Steichen, same thing. Like everyone thinks they have some sort of like secret hidden like end somewhere. Oh, I found the next Sean McVay. I found the next Andy Reid. It's just like sometimes you just gotta go with the horse in front of you that you see, man. Like, how do you just completely ignore Brian Flores if you're a Cardinals team that likes to blitz the quarterback or has a thing that kind of fits Flores' style? I don't understand that. It's very confusing to me. The Colts, why are we going to run this type of offensive system from the Eagles when we don't necessarily have that offense to really do that? I just don't understand.
You don't have a quarterback.
Right. So
I just don't get it.
What are you telling everybody? Like my God. Yeah, no. NFL owners, I have to be the most. When it comes to all these decisions, it's like, yeah, I get it. You're rich. You have to be smart to be rich sometimes, but they make some dumb ass football decisions.
Oh man, the Colts. I
I
mean,
think they're just
the Colts owner Jim Irsay is just like Jerry Jones Jr. at this
Yeah.
point. Like
yeah.
fire Frank Wright mid-season, like it was all his fault. One of the great, like he's one of the best coaches out there. He's gonna show you guys or show everybody in Carolina this season. And then they go with Jeff Saturday, and I wonder why. I wonder why Jeff Saturday didn't get rehired when he made it to the finals. But I'm imagining it's because he went into his interview and then he was just like, what is your skill, huh? That's all you got. That's all you got.
I also host a TV show.
Yeah, like this dude really went from TV to the NFL, and then he got one win against the Raiders of all teams.
Right. Raiders are trash, and then backed it up, and everyone's like, Jeff Saturday.
Biggest blown lead of all time against the Vikings. Like, let's not forget that either. Like, the Colts are a mess. Their GM, I mean, their owner is a joke. Jim Irsay is a joke. And when you're really talking about Brian Flores, Eric Bieniemy, you know why. You know why they don't get these jobs. It's because Eric Bieniemy has to go to Washington and prove himself. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. You know who didn't have to go prove himself that were under Andy Reid? Matt Nagy.
Yeah.
Doug Peterson, both Andy Reid offensive coordinators, and they just got elevated to head coaches. Doug Peterson really got a Super Bowl. Matt Nagy is clearly a bum, but now he's probably going to be the OC again. And then you look at Brian Flores, handle business in Miami every year. They had a winning record.
Yeah, no, it's criminal. It's criminal.
Sorry, but he's got to go. He had to go. He wasn't even a defensive coordinator last year for the Steelers, and now at least he's going to be a defensive coordinator for the Vikings. But it all comes back to the same thing. It's a boys' club, man, and
and they're not in it.
It's a boys' club. It's not It's not the brothers' club. You know what I mean? It's the boys' club.
Dude, this is my boy. This is my guy.
Well, the most surprising thing for me about Bieniemy going to OC was like, at least for me, I'm trying to put myself in Bieniemy's shoes. It's like, all right, I'm trying to be a head coach. I'm getting blackballed. Well, if I'm going to get blackballed anyways, why would I not keep collecting rings with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid? Like, why would I put myself in a situation? I'm probably going to be buried. I'm probably not going to ever come out the division, maybe third at best. You know, like you're going to a tough division in the NFC least, but they all beat up on each other, and you really think you're going to come out of that?
Can't say that.
Stop it.
What?
Hey, all 3 of our teams went to the playoffs.
Y'all have the schedule collectively. Stop it. I don't want to hear it. We played the AFC.
Hey, look, hey, we didn't pick our schedule.
Hey, I know, but it's just like you guys aren't that good. We saw what happened.
Giants beat
Philly had one of the easiest schedules all season, and they almost gave it up to the Texans on a Thursday night.
Oh,
screw them.
Every week in the NFL is its own separate entity. It doesn't really your stats matter and all that stuff and trajectories, but hey, this is why you play the game. This is why you play.
True. And then we skipped over D'Amico Ryans to the Texans. I like it. He got the opportunity. I mean, I don't think the Texans are going to be good for a while, regardless. But they shouldn't have much expectations. They need a QB. They need pieces everywhere. So, at least he's getting his opportunity. Let's see what he can do. I feel like at best, 3 years from now, like maybe they make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to be a team that's going to be, in Super Bowl contention.
No, fuck no. I'm keeping an eye out. If they don't get CJ Stroud or any of the young folks, or maybe Will Levis, but like Baker Mayfield might be a bridge.
That's true. That's true. I think CJ Stroud is going to be the guy. Like, not for the Texans per se, but like he's going to be legit in the league. He's going to be a problem. I feel like he's being slept on. I think he's going to be. You don't see.
Well, the Texans are going to be interesting because I think they have a lot of cap space to go in, so they're pretty much going to be able to revamp their team on both sides of the ball. But yeah, he definitely has some work to do. I wasn't as excited as a lot of people were, just because it's like, damn, bro, you were knocking on the door to a ring, and now you're kind of going to the bottom. But at least, hey, at least you're a head coach.
No, it's not that.
But
it's just more of like, see, when people think of it that way, then it, that's how it looks all negative. But if you have a chance to build your own team, build your own.
Yeah.
He's building this from the ground up. He didn't sign a 3-year deal just to be fired in 1 year. I'm pretty sure he was at the negotiations table and said, no, I want time. I want real time, because this is going to be a lot of work. You've been the worst team in the league 2 years in a row. Like, you need me more than I need you.
Yeah.
And what did the Texans do? They backed up the Braves truck, and he probably has like a 4-year leash because it's a 6-year contract. But we'll see. Hey, I like D'Amico Reyes.
I don't know. The Texans might be sitting there thinking, it's like, we'll do you just like we did Lovie Smith. Don't play with us, boy.
Yeah, seriously.
Right. Who's this uppity ass coach think he is? We gonna get his ass out after 1 year.
Call him into the office like, we gotta let you go.
Well, one more we didn't touch on yet. How you guys feel about Kellen Moore getting out of Dallas and on his way to LA?
I love that move. I was talking to an LA Charger fan earlier this week about that move. And I just think now that Kellen Moore has a quarterback that's it's not Dak's fault. It's just Dak is a B- quarterback. Justin Herbert, talent-wise, is an A+. I think that's a major upgrade. You have Keenan Allen, which LA, please don't be stupid and release him. Mike Williams, you got.
I hope they release his ass
because they can't pay him. He wants to get paid, and they don't have a lot in the cap. So
I'd move Mike Williams. He stay hurt. He's hurt too much.
I like Keenan Allen over him too.
Arguably, they're both hurt a lot these last few seasons.
That's true, but I think
the organization is like, well, hell, what are we supposed to do here?
I think this season Keenan Allen purposely is like, I'm gonna take my time coming back because he knew he was going into a contract year. So it's like, I'll take my time, make sure I'm fully healthy, and I get paid wherever I need to go next if it's not going to be here. But I will say I like the move. I feel like it's a loss for the Cowboys for sure, and a major win for the Chargers. Kellen Moore knows how to run the offense. He knows how to control the. He knows how to run the ball. He knows how to convert first downs. Pretty much like if you put Justin Herbert on the Cowboys might make the Super Bowl. So now he's got that in San Diego or in LA, excuse me. But yes, the weapons are basically the biggest question mark. They have a great offensive line. They got a lot of names on defense. I'm not sure how good the defense is. They got a lot of names though.
Yeah, got a lot of names. We just don't know how good.
So, now it's up to both of them. Kellen Moore, Brandon Staley, 2 young guys. Prove yourselves. You got the perfect opportunity to prove yourselves. Show us that you know what you're doing. And if they do that, I mean, the Chargers, Super Bowl, they're in Super Bowl contention without question. If Kellen Moore is who we think he is, and if Brandon Staley can, be competent.
So how with this after draft day or draft week, we'll revisit this because I like it. Because you said Broncos worst to second. So where does that leave LA?
Third.
Winning record. So do you think we were a year early on predicting like AFC West being like the toughest division in football? This could be like that year.
Well, was it? I guess so. You look at it like there's 2 playoff teams from every division except for the AFC West. I mean, except for the AFC South. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say. The AFC is just loaded. Like, you
Yeah.
look at the AFC North, Bengals aren't going anywhere. Ravens, if they keep Lamar, aren't going anywhere. Steelers are always in contention. The Browns,
that's so weird.
paper. And then you look at the AFC East, Bills aren't going anywhere. Dolphins aren't going anywhere. Patriots could always get better since, all you need is an offensive coordinator that actually, does offense. So they got Bill O'Brien now.
Yeah.
AFC South is just going to continue to be in the toilet. And then you got the AFC West. It's a lot of good teams. The Raiders, if they get a good quarterback, they could be in the mix too. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a bloodbath in the AFC.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I
Very
agree.
true.
But hey, I think that's a wrap on episode 1, y'all. Sports
Woo!
Mind.
Sports Minds.
We're going to be back. It ain't going nowhere. So, as always, we like you to subscribe to the podcast, rate us 5 stars, tell your friends about us, tell your mama, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your uncle, your nephew, cousin, everybody. We ain't going nowhere. We going to number 1. Going number 1.
Let us know what time it is, and if you would like some ad space, hit us up.
You already know. At Sports Minds, baby, hit us up. We on Instagram. We on TikTok. Dancing? No, we don't do dancing. Dancing in the interviews, we don't do that. Is this ain't Bad Boy? It's Death Row. We from the West.
No jive turkeys up in here.
But we next week. Have a good week, y'all.
Yeah.
We out.